All right, so the NBA is at this really fascinating crossroads right now. We're going to break down a recent on-court scuffle and the punishments that got everyone talking. Then we'll get into the mind-blowing dominance of a rookie who's, well, basically changing the game before our very eyes. And finally, we'll mark the end of one of the most insane streaks in sports history. So yeah, let's just dive right in.
Okay, so let's kick things off with this quote from Tim McMahon over at ESPN. Honestly, I think the sheriff Adam Silver went a little bit soft on crime. Whoa, that pretty much perfectly sums up the whole debate that's been swirling around the league office. And it all started with a pretty heated moment between two teams.
So here's the scene. You've got the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. Things get chippy and then it escalates. The NBA had to hand down 4 different suspensions after this thing. Things got hot, players came off the bench, and the league had no choice but to step in and lay down the law.
All right, let's break down the league's verdict. It all starts with Jalen Duren from the Pistons. He gets 2 games for kind of kicking the whole thing off. From there, it just gets worse. Miles Bridges and Moussa Diabate from the Hornets, they both get 4 games for jumping into the fray. But the real headline here, the one that really got people talking, was Isaiah Stewart. He got hit with a way heavier 7-game suspension.
So you're probably asking, why 7 games for Stewart? That's a lot more than the others. Well, the league's official line was that he came off the bench aggressively, escalated the whole thing, and was fighting. But the real kicker, the thing everyone's pointing to, is his history. See, he's a repeat offender, and that apparently carried a ton of weight in this decision.
And this brings us right back to where we started. Was the punishment soft on crime? I mean, you've got a repeat offender who, as one person put it, came flying off the bench, throwing haymakers, and he gets 7 games. Was that really enough? A lot of people around the league are saying, maybe not.
So you've got 2 camps here, really. On one side, a lot of folks were expecting a double-digit suspension for Stewart. I mean, we're talking 10 games or more. Because he's not a first-timer, right? They're calling him a significant repeat offender. But then you've got the other side of the coin. They're saying, hey, look, it's the dog days of the season. These teams are fighting for playoff spots, and you don't want to sideline key guys for too long. It hurts the competition.
And believe it or not, there's another way to look at all this chippiness. Some people actually think it's good for the league. Great for viewership. It shows that these teams, even the ones with losing records, actually care. They want to win. It's a sign of intensity. But, and this is a big but, everyone agrees you have to have a strong deterrent. You just can't have guys flying off the bench like that.
Okay, let's just do a complete 180 here. We're going from punishment to a pure prodigy. Because honestly, there's no other way to describe what's happening with Victor Wembanyama. A broadcast announcer said it best. This is Wemby's world, and really, we're all just living in it. And that is not an exaggeration. The hype around this guy is just unreal.
So if you want just a tiny little snapshot of what this guy can do on offense, just look at this number, 17. In one game, he scored 17 consecutive points for the Spurs. Not over a couple of quarters, in a single quarter. It was absolutely insane. He just decided the game was his, and that was that.
But this is where it gets truly wild. His defense. When Wemby is on the court, teams shoot a measly 39.9% against the Spurs. That is the single best defensive number in the entire NBA. But the second he sits down on the bench, that opponent field goal percentage skyrockets to almost 49%. They go from being the number 1 defense to the 6th worst defense in the league. The difference one player makes is it's staggering. And that's why he's such a game changer. I mean, sure, we all know the measurements, 7'4" with an 8-foot wingspan, but those are just numbers. On the court, he's basically a walking, talking defensive system. It's like having a center with the skills of a point guard. He completely changes the geometry of the court for anyone trying to score on him. So when you have a player with this kind of impact, it leads to some pretty wild questions. You know it usually works, right? A young team rebuilds for years and years before they can even sniff a title. But with Wemby, people are seriously asking, can the Spurs just skip the line entirely? So let's just lay it all out there. Is it really truly possible? Can a team with basically 0 playoff experience actually make a run for the title this season? It sounds crazy, right?
Well, the answer depends on who you ask, and that's what makes this so interesting. If you talk to the Spurs organization, they believe they can win it all, like right now. But analysts on the outside, they're a bit more skeptical. They point to history, saying young teams just don't do that. But then, in the very next breath, they'll say, but do not put a ceiling on Wemby. They call him the ultimate cheat code for a reason. He might just be the guy who makes all that history totally irrelevant.
All right, so we've talked about the possible beginning of a new dynasty, and now we have to turn to the official end of a truly legendary chapter. And for this part, the tone really has to shift. We're talking about an achievement that, honestly, we might never ever see again.
So, here it is. By missing his 18th game this season, LeBron James is no longer eligible for any postseason honors. That means no All-NBA team for the first time in, well, a very, very long time. An absolutely historic streak is officially over.
And let's just take a second to appreciate what that streak even was. We're talking about being named one of the absolute best players in the entire league for 21 consecutive seasons. It's the longest streak in the history of the game. It's just a monument to a kind of greatness and longevity that we've just never seen before. It's unbelievable.
And you know, even though this one particular streak is over, it's just one piece of a legacy that's full of records people thought were unbreakable. I mean, think about it. The 3-1 finals comeback against a team that won 73 games, going to 10 straight NBA finals. Oh, and you know, just becoming the NBA's all-time leading scorer. His career is just packed with these legendary moments.
So that leaves us with this one final, kind of powerful thought, doesn't it? We literally just saw the official end of a streak that defined an entire era of basketball. And as that incredible chapter closes, are we watching the very beginning of the next one? Is Victor Wembanyama the guy who's ready to grab that torch and run with it? It really feels like we're at a massive turning point for the league. And wow, it's going to be fun to see what happens next.